Today, we are strapping in for, well, the ultimate adventure narrative. It's got everything. Betrayal, missing links, prehistoric monsters, all set in the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
We are plunging into a world supposedly untouched by time, a true deep dive into this hidden plateau in South America.
That's right. And our sources give us this incredible first-hand account from a reporter who was actually there.
Mm-hmm.
It's his record of the whole astonishing journey.
And it sounds like quite the journey. Ambition, scientific discovery?
Absolutely. Astounding discoveries, really.
Yeah.
But also, profound personal sacrifice. The whole thing kicks off not because of some big scientific grant or anything.
No.
No, it starts because one man, Edward Malone, just desperately needed to be a hero.
Ah, okay. So it's personal from the get-go. Malone's motivation, it sounds pretty intense.
Oh, it's high stakes, all right. He was completely smitten with this woman, Gladys Hungerton. And she basically gave him an ultimatum. She didn't just want to report her boyfriend.
She wanted more.
Much more. She laid it out pretty clearly. She needed a man of action. Someone capable of, and these are her words, great deeds and strange experiences.
Wow. So nice friend wasn't going to cut it.
Not even close. He actually proposed, and she just shut him down. Said she was in love with somebody else, only an ideal.
An ideal, like an explorer type.
Exactly. She admired the big names, the Richard Burtons, the Stanleys, men who faced death constantly. She literally told Malone she needed a man who could look death in the face and have no fear of him.
Ouch. That's quite a standard to live up to. Talk about pressure.
Right. But Malone, instead of just, moving on, he takes it as his mission. He decides heroism isn't some far-off thing. It's all around us waiting to be done.
And just like that, the perfect, terrifying quest falls into his lap.
Pretty much immediately, the chance to join this expedition led by the notorious Professor Challenger.
Notorious? How so?
We'll get into him. But the mission was to confirm Challenger's absolutely wild claim about a plateau where, essentially, the age of dinosaurs never ended.
Okay, so that's our setup. We're going to follow Malone's journey from this kind of strange beginning through the discoveries, the chaos.
The creatures, the characters, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And the pretty steep price paid for proving this lost world even existed. It's quite a ride.
Okay, let's dig into how this whole thing even got started. Because before you even get near the Amazon, you have to deal with Professor G.E. Challenger. And he sounds like quite a character.
Oh, character. Just putting it mildly. Brilliant scientist, absolutely. But his temper, legendary, infamous, really. Homicidal, some said.
Homicidal, seriously.
That was the word going around. The general view in scientific circles was something like homicidal megalomaniac with a turn for science. And definitely a champion liar.
Champion liar because of the South America stuff.
Exactly. He'd made these claims before, been accused of faking evidence, so he's this kind of terrifying figure. Students whispered about him, but nobody really wanted to cross him.
So how does Malone, our hopeful hero, even approach this guy? You can't just knock on his door for an interview, right?
No way.
Yeah.
Malone tries to be clever. He cooks up this scientific ruse, writes a really detailed letter pretending to be deeply interested in the Darwin versus Weissman debate.
Yeah.
Something technical.
Trying to flatter him, appeal to his ego.
Yeah, hoping Challenger would see him as a serious intellectual, not just a journalist. He even, get this, deliberately misquotes one of Challenger's own lectures slightly, trying to seem like he's really engaged with the work.
Did it work?
Not for a second. Challenger saw right through it, gets Malone into his study, calls the letter scientific gibberish, rips it up.
Oh, wow.
Calls Malone a walnut of a brain and an infernal scribbler. He absolutely despised the press, called them creeping vermin.
Okay, so the interview's not going well.
Not going well is an understatement. It turns into an actual physical fight. Malone's a big guy, apparently played rugby, and he doesn't back down. Challenger, described as all furious beard and bulk, just charges him.
No, they actually fought.
They did. The source material paints this incredible picture. The two of them doing a Catherine wheel together down the passage, like a cartoon brawl.
The Catherine wheel. Tumbling end over end.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
They picked up a chair on the way, which smashed into pieces, and they end up wrestling in the gutter outside the house. Just absolute chaos.
That's insane. What stopped them?
Challenger's wife, Jessie. She comes out screaming, "You brute, George, you've hurt that nice young man." That finally broke it up.
Huh. It's amazing he didn't just, kick Malone out after that.
It's bizarre, right? But it seems like the physical explosion somehow cleared the air for Challenger. Only after basically assaulting the reporter does he suddenly decide, okay, maybe I can trust this guy.
That is a unique approach to building trust.
Totally. And the switch is jarring. One minute it's primal fury. The next, he's meticulously laying out the scientific proof for his lost world.
Okay, so what is the proof? What does he show Malone?
It starts with relics from this American artist, Maple White, who apparently died exploring the area. Challenger brings out his tattered sketchbook.
And what's in it?
First, the landscape. These really distinctive dark red cliffs, ribbed, sheer, forming this unbroken wall. But there's one single, isolated pinnacle of rock next to it, crowned with trees, like a natural fortress.
Okay, dramatic scenery, but that doesn't prove dinosaurs.
No, but the next sketch, that's the bombshell. It's this drawing of a creature, huge, bloated, lizard-like body, kind of a bird-like head, and this row of big, bony plates down its curved back. A spiked tail, too.
Like a stegosaurus.
Pretty much. Malone's first thought is, okay, the artist was delirious, maybe sick, hallucinating.
Makes sense.
But Challenger anticipates that. He points to something else in the sketch, a specific type of palm tree, a vegetable ivory palm that grows 50, 60 feet tall. The artist drew it for scale.
Ah, so compared to the tree.
Compared to the tree, the creature is immense. Challenger insists it was drawn accurately from the life. Suddenly, it's not just a weird drawing, it's potential evidence.
Still, a drawing. People can fake things.
True. So Challenger brings out the physical proof. A piece of bone, curved, thick as your thumb, found with Maple White's things.
A fossil.
That's the kicker. No, it still had dried cartilage on it. It was recent, not fossilized at all.
Whoa. Okay, that is different. What kind of bone was it?
Challenger lets Malone guess first. Is it a collarbone? An elephant bone? A taper rib? Malone's stumped. Then Challenger pulls out diagrams, compares it to bird wings, bat wings, and proves it matches neither. It perfectly matches the unique forearm structure of a pterodactyl wing, a massive flying reptile.
A recent pterodactyl bone. Okay, I can see how Malone might be convinced now.
Completely. The sketch, the photos Challenger also had, the story, and now this physical, non-fossilized proof. It's overwhelming. Challenger, of course, is just beaming. Calls himself the Columbus of science.
Right, so he's got his proof. He's got his first believer in Malone. What next? Does he publish?
He goes public, but in typical Challenger fashion. Explosively. At a big meeting at the Zoological Institute. Some poor lecturer, Mr. Waldron, is talking about dinosaurs being extinct.
Then Challenger takes issue.
He doesn't just take issue. He's hidden in the audience, and he keeps interrupting with just one booming word, question, every time Waldron mentions extinction. Question.
Oh, that must have gone down well.
About as well as you'd expect. Then some students start heckling Challenger, calling him a liar, based on the old rumors. That sends him into a berserk mood, as the text puts it.
Uh-oh.
He basically takes over the meeting, demands they send a committee to South America to verify his claims. He doesn't ask, he demands it.
And people actually volunteered after all that.
Amazingly, yes.
Yeah.
3 steps forward. First, Malone, obviously chasing his heroic deed for Gladys.
Okay.
Second, Professor Summerlee. He's this distinguished but very dry, very skeptical comparative anatomist. Thinks Challenger is a total fraud, but he feels scientifically obligated to go and expose the scam.
Right. The counterpoint. And the third.
The third is Lord John Roxton, famous sportsman, explorer, adventurer, a completely different breed altogether.
Okay, tell me about Roxton. He sounds interesting.
Definitely. Malone goes to meet him at his place, this apartment in the Albany, and it's described as this perfect mix of, like, high culture and total chaos.
How so?
You've got delicate French paintings, fragonards right next to boxing gloves and hunting trophies, a fancy Louis Cannes table, but it's covered in cigar burns. It's clearly the lair of someone wealthy, adventurous, and maybe a little bit reckless.
And what drives him? Not science, presumably.
Not in the slightest. He tells Malone straight up it's the sport and risk. That's his entire motivation. Pure adventure.
Just the challenge.
Just the challenge. And he immediately puts Malone to the test. A really intense test.
What does he do?
He casually suggests they need to go and subdue his friend, Sir John Ballinger, who's supposedly drunk, armed with a revolver, and needs to be physically restrained. He asks Malone if he's game to rush him.
Whoa! That's a hell of a request. What does Malone do?
Malone's terrified, but he thinks of Gladys and needing to be brave, so he just instantly agrees. Says yes, let's do it.
Did they rush the guy?
No. Roxton just waits a beat, then slaps Malone on the chest and says, "All right, Sonny Malad, you'll do." The whole thing was a setup. Ballinger was already fine.
He faked it, just to see Malone's reaction.
Exactly. He needed to know if the reporter had grit, if he'd panic when things got dangerous, potentially violent. He passed the test.
Roxton sounds intense. What's his background?
Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
He mentions offhand fighting slave traders down in Peru, calls himself the flail of the Lord, Points to little nicks on the stock of his rifle.
Nicks? For what?
He clarifies. Each of those nicks is for a slave murderer. And so, yeah, he's seen action. He sees this whole Lost World thing as just another dangerous but potentially thrilling gamble, a sport.
So the team's formed. The reporter seeking heroism, the skeptic, the adventurer, and the explosive scientist leading them. They're ready to go.
Almost. Challenger pulls one last power move right at the dock, just as they're about to leave, shows up, takes charge, and makes them all swear absolute secrecy.
Secrecy? About what?
The exact location. He refuses to tell them where they're going until they reach Manaus, deep in Brazil. And Malone's reports. Nothing can be published until they get back. Total information lockdown.
Okay, so they head off into the Amazon. What's the journey like?
Once they leave the main river, get into the smaller tributaries and canoes, it becomes immense, vast, overwhelmingly silent almost. Just this huge green vaulted tunnel of jungle. Heat, insects buzzing. That's it.
Sounds peaceful almost.
It is until it isn't. They start hearing this sound. Really strange. A singular deep throbbing in the air, rhythmic and solemn. Comes and goes.
Throbbing, like drums.
Maybe. The indigenous guides, the rowers, they freak out, completely stop paddling, just paralyzed with fear. They call it kurapuri.
Kurapuri, what's that?
The name for some kind of malevolent spirit of the woods in their legends. Whatever it is, the name alone signifies pure terror for them. It's the first sign they're really entering somewhere. Different, somewhere unknown and feared.
Creepy. Did they find anything more concrete to worry about?
Oh, yes. They eventually track down the site of Maple White's old camp, near the cliffs Challenger described. And there, at the base of the cliffs, they find what's left of his companion, James Culver.
Find his body.
His skeletal remains, yeah. The bones are shattered, clearly from a massive fall. But there's a gruesome detail.
What is it?
Thick bamboo canes, the really sharp kind, have grown through his ribcage.
Yeah.
Impaled him.
Ugh. So he fell onto a natural spike pit, basically.
Exactly. It suggests the area below the cliffs isn't just dangerous, it's actively hostile. Like the environment itself is setting traps. Ominous discovery, to say the least.
Definitely raises the stakes. Did they find Maple White's way up?
They followed his trail markers, these chalk arrows he'd left, which led them to a cave entrance partway up the cliffs. Looked promising.
Was it the way?
It was the way it had been. They go in about 50 yards, climbing steeply, and then disaster. The roof has collapsed. A massive fall of basalt rock completely blocking the passage.
Oh no, so the easy way up is gone.
Gone forever, sealed tight. That forces them to circle the entire base of the cliffs, looking for another way.
How long did that take?
6 days. 6 miserable, demoralizing days, apparently spent wading through the Jaracaca swamp.
Jaracaca, isn't that a snake? A bad one.
One of the worst in South America. Aggressive, highly venomous pit vipers. The swamp was crawling with them, so the approach is just hellish. Snakes, heat, mud. It's like the plateau has these layers of defense.
And did they find another way?
After slogging all the way around, they end up right back where they started, near Culver's remains, staring at that sheer wall of red cliff. And right next to it, that isolated pinnacle of rock they saw in Maple White's sketch.
The one separated by a gap.
Yeah, a chasm about 40 feet wide. The pinnacle itself is almost as high as the main cliff. And this is where Challenger has his big eureka moment.
He figures it out.
He does. He realizes the pinnacle is the key. If they can get to the top of the pinnacle, they just need to bridge that 40-foot gap to reach the plateau itself.
How do they bridge it?
There's a huge tree nearby, a ginkgo tree, conveniently located. Challenger dictates the plan. Fell the tree so it drops across the chasm, forming a natural bridge.
Sounds simple enough. Dangerous, maybe?
It takes Malone and Roxton over an hour of hard chopping with their camp axe. Suspenseful work, swinging the axe over that huge drop. Finally, with this massive crack, the trunk crashes down, landing perfectly across the gap.
They did it. They have a bridge.
They have a bridge. All 4 of them, Challenger, Summerlee, Roxton, Malone, carefully cross the precarious, probably swaying tree trunk. They've made it. They're on the Lost World. Triumph.
Amazing. What's the first thing they see?
They barely get a chance to look. They walk maybe 50 yards into the brush on the plateau side, turn their backs for just a moment, and then disaster strikes.
What happens?
This fretful rending crash from behind them. They spin around the tree bridge. It's gone. Just splintered remains at the bottom of the abyss.
Gone.
Sabotage. As they stare in shock, a figure appears back on the top of the pinnacle they just left. It's Gomez, one of their local guides, the half-breed guy who'd seemed loyal.
The guy did it. Why?
Revenge. It turns out Gomez is the brother of Pedro Lopez, some guy Roxton tangled with, probably killed, back in his flail of the Lord days fighting slave traders. Gomez had been waiting for his moment.
Wow. So this was personal.
Deeply personal. He's screaming at them from the pinnacle, taunting them. "You cursed fools! You are trapped, every one of you!" Apparently, he used a heavy branch or lever to just tip the massive tree trunk off the edge once they were safely across.
It's devastating. Trapped on a potentially monster-filled plateau by betrayal. What do?
Roxton reacts instantly. No hesitation. The source describes his face turning to granite.
What does he do? Yell back.
No time for yelling. He runs to get a clear line of sight, raises that rifle, the one with the nicks on it, takes aim across the chasm.
Does he?
Fires one shot, just one. They hear a sharp scream, then the distant, sickening thud of a body hitting the rocks far below.
He shot him. Just like that.
Just like that. Swift, brutal retribution. The narrative presents it as just.
Yeah.
Necessary. Eliminating the immediate threat. Establishing this harsh reality of survival.
Man, so they're really, truly stranded now. No bridge. The betrayer dealt with. How do they even survive?
Well, Roxton had made one smart move. He'd insisted on leaving their other main servant, this huge, loyal black man named Zambo, down below at the base camp with supplies.
Ah, so they have someone on the outside.
They do. They managed to establish contact, shouting down. Zambo promises he'll stay put, guard the supplies, and wait. He becomes their lifeline. They figured they can use ropes to haul up essentials. It's tenuous, fragile, but it's their only link back to the world. So there they are, stranded. The focus immediately shifts, right? From getting onto the plateau to just surviving it, and maybe figuring out what's actually up there.
Right. Escape is a problem for later. First things first. What is this place?
Malone takes the initiative. He climbs that giant ginkgo tree near the edge, the only really tall tree they can see easily to try to get a lay of the land. Map it out.
And what does he see? Is it huge?
Pretty big, yeah. He estimates it's roughly the size of an average English county. So substantial. And crucially, looking inwards towards the center, he sees distant lights, fires flickering in caves on the far cliff face.
Fires?
Meaning humans, or at least something intelligent enough to use fire is living here too. They're not alone with just animals.
Okay, that adds another layer of complexity. What about the animals? Do they find anything quickly?
Almost immediately, they find tracks, massive three-toed footprints, way too big for any bird they know. They follow them cautiously.
How much tracks lead them?
To this open glade. They hide in the bushes, peer out, and just stare. There are 5 of them. 2 huge adults, 3 smaller young ones.
5 what?
Creatures straight out of a textbook. Monstrous kangaroos, Malone calls them at first glance. Maybe 20 feet long, slate gray, scaly skin, big, thick tails balancing them as they graze.
Dinosaurs.
Iguanodons.
Unmistakably.
Just there, alive, munching on plants like giant scaly cattle after 60 million years.
Wow. Just wow. How did the scientists react? Especially Summerlee, the skeptic.
Summerlee completely loses it, in a good way. He apparently just breaks down, starts shouting, "Nunc dimittis."
Which means?
It's Latin for, "Now let your servant depart in peace." Basically, I've seen the ultimate proof. My life's work is validated. I can die happy now. He's utterly converted on the spot.
That's incredible. Challenger must have been thrilled.
Thrilled and utterly smug, you can bet. He apparently couldn't resist twisting the knife, even in this moment of shared wonder.
What did he say?
Something like, see, and they will say, "You are an infernal liar and a charlatan professor, exactly as you and others said of me." He needed that "I told you so" moment. Professional vindication was huge for him.
Okay, so they've seen iguanodons. Amazing. But Lost World implies more than just herbivores, right? Things get dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. The wonder very quickly turns to sheer terror. They're exploring near a water source, and they start hearing this weird noise, a low gabbling and whistling sound.
Gabbling and whistling.
Yeah. It leads them to this clearing strewn with boulders, and it's a rookery, a nesting ground for pterodactyls.
Flying reptiles. How many?
Over 100, easily. Just perched there, nesting. Huge ones. 20-foot wingspans, a scene straight out of the Jurassic period.
That sounds terrifying. What happened?
Challenger, being Challenger, gets a bit too close, trying to observe. He exposes their position, and instantly the air just explodes. All those creatures take flight at once. This horrifying, dry, rustling flap sound fills the air.
And then they attacked.
Immediately, swooping down, attacking with their sharp beaks, claws, even bashing them with those huge leathery wings. It was chaos.
Did anyone get hurt?
Yeah, Summerlee got a nasty gash. Malone got stabbed in the neck muscle by a beak. They only drove them off by frantically beating at them with sticks and rocks. Challenger, even then, was apparently noting their various methods of offense. Still the scientist.
Always the scientist. Okay, giant herbivores, check. Swarms of flying reptiles, check. What
Right.
else? There has to be a big predator, right?
They suspected it. Then on the third night, they hear it. This absolutely blood-curdling sound from the darkness beyond their campfire.
What kind of sound?
Horrifying screams. An agonized cry, the source says, but mixed with this awful, growling, throaty gurgle of merriment. Like something was enjoying the kill. Challenger calls it a prehistoric tragedy.
Chilling. Did they find proof in the morning?
Undeniable proof. The remains of an iguanodon, freshly killed, torn to absolute shreds, massive claw marks, huge bite marks. The analysis is grim. There's a large carnivorous dinosaur out there, maybe Allosaurus, maybe Megalosaurus, and it's hunting.
Okay, so the ecosystem is complete. Herbivores, flyers, apex predator. But Malone saw fires. What about the human element?
Right, the other inhabitants. Malone gets a very personal, very scary encounter with one. He's out alone one night near the central lake climbing that big ginkgo tree again.
What does he see?
He's climbing, and suddenly, a face appears, just a foot away from his own, staring at him.
A human face.
Close, but not quite. Described as far more human than any monkeys, but also terrifyingly primitive. Pimpled skin, flattened nose, a projecting jaw, and clearly visible, sharp, curved canine teeth.
Whoa! Like a caveman.
Something like that. The creature snarls at him, then just dives away, vanishing into the trees. They discuss it later. Challenger classifies it as some kind of anthropoid ape. Maybe arboreal, hairless.
Yeah.
Disturbingly close to the classic idea of a missing link.
A missing link, living alongside dinosaurs. This place just keeps getting stranger. Does Malone make it back okay after that?
He starts heading back, but he hears this low, throaty, croaking sound pursuing him through the darkness. He starts running flat out along a game trail.
Does it catch him?
No, but the ground vanishes beneath him. He falls straight into a pit trap.
A natural pit.
No, that's the scary part. It's clearly artificial. Well dug, camouflaged, and at the bottom, a sharpened wooden stake, blackened with old blood.
Like the bamboo spikes that got Culver.
Exactly the same principle. It's a huge realization for Malone. Whatever lives here, ape men, humans, whatever, they aren't just defenseless prey for the dinosaurs. They use their intelligence. They build sophisticated traps to kill even the massive creatures. Man, or something like him, is a hunter here too.
Okay, so Malone dodges the pit trap. That's lucky, but he was being pursued.
Right.
He gets back to their camp, Fort Challenger, right?
He does, eventually scrambling out of the pit. But when he gets back, it's a scene of devastation. The thorn barrier, the zareba they build, is torn open. The camp is completely ransacked.
And the others, Challenger, Summerlee, Roxton.
Gone. Vanished. And worse, there's this hideous pool of blood staining the grass right in the middle of the camp.
Oh no, he must have thought the worst, that the big carnivore finally got them.
Exactly his first thought.
Yeah.
He's alone. His friend's likely dead. It's his lowest point. Until sunrise.
What happens at sunrise?
Lord John Roxton comes crashing back into the camp. He's ragged, scraped up, but alive.
Yeah.
And he immediately starts grabbing rifles, ammunition.
He's alive! What happened? Where are the others?
Roxton quickly explains. They weren't attacked by a dinosaur. They were ambushed.
The ape men.
The missing links Malone saw.
The very same. Roxton says they just rained apes out of the trees, descended on the camp as thick as apples, carrying crude sticks, chattering in this rough, jabbering language, overwhelmed them instantly.
So they were captured, all three of them.
Yep, dragged off by the ape men. And Roxton describes this really bizarre detail about Challenger's capture.
What was it?
While Summerlee and Roxton were just manhandled, Challenger was treated differently. The ape-man chief, their leader, had his followers carry Challenger shoulder high like a Roman emperor.
Why?
Get this. Roxton says the ape-man chief looked exactly like Challenger. A sort of red Challenger, he calls him, with every one of our friend's beauty points, only just a trifle more so. Hairy, brutish. But the resemblance was uncanny.
That's incredibly weird. Like the ape man recognized a kindred spirit. Or just his physical twin. Who knows? Maybe it implies something about Challenger's own primal nature. But this privilege didn't extend to the others. They witnessed something truly horrific while captive.
Worse than being captured by ape men.
Much worse. They were taken to the edge of the cliffs, near the ape men's caves. And they saw other prisoners there. Small, dark-skinned humans. Cave dwellers.
The people Malone saw the fires from.
Must be. And Summerlee and Roxton were forced to watch as the ape men executed these human prisoners, one by one, by forcing them off the cliff edge, making them take the death jump onto those sharpened bamboo spikes planted in the ground far below. The exact same fate that Culver met.
Oh my God, that's barbaric, systematically executing their enemies that way.
Absolutely brutal.
Hmm.
But Roxton, being Roxton, wasn't just watching in horror. He was calculating. He noticed the ape men were actually quite slow on the ground, clumsy compared to their agility in trees. And crucially,
What?
they had absolutely no concept of firearms. They were terrified by the noise, maybe, but didn't understand the danger.
So Roxton saw an opportunity.
He did. While the ape men were distracted, bringing in new human prisoners, Roxton gave the signal. He, Challenger, and Summerlee made a break for it. It turned into a running firefight.
A firefight against 8 men with sticks.
Exactly. Roxton describes the horrible havoc the rifles caused among the pursuing apes. The creatures just couldn't comprehend where the death was coming from. They managed to escape, but only just.
Okay, so they're reunited, but now they know there's this brutal war happening between the 8 men and these cave-dwelling humans. What do?
They realize they can't stay neutral or isolated anymore. They need allies. They seek out the cave dwellers, the Akalas they're called, small, terrified people.
How do the Akalis react to them?
With fear, initially, but also gratitude. They saw the explorers escape, saw the power of their thunder and lightning weapons against the 8 men. An alliance is formed, us against them.
An alliance against the 8 men. But what about the dinosaurs? Are they still a threat?
Oh yeah, especially the big carnivores, the ones Roxton calls stoas. They even start seeing them in daylight now. Huge, blotchy, kind of iridescent toad-like things moving in these terrifying springs.
Yeah.
And they learn something vital and scary about them.
What's that?
Their bullets are almost useless.
Useless.
it
Against a dinosaur.
Pretty much. They hit them, sure, but unless they get a perfect brain shot, the creatures just keep coming. Roxton figures out their nervous system must be really primitive, decentralized. The springs of their lives, he calls it, are scattered all down the spinal cord. They just soak up bullets.
Wow. So modern weapons fail against ancient biology?
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it? The only thing that seems to work are the poisoned arrows the Akalis use. Dipped in strophanthus, maybe some kind of carrion poison. It works slowly, but it eventually brings the giants down through toxicity.
So the Akalis' ancient knowledge is actually more effective than their modern rifles against some threats.
In this case, yes. So you have this combined force. The explorers' firepower and strategic thinking, plus the Akalis' numbers and specific knowledge. They decide to end the 8-man threat once and for all.
A final battle.
Pretty much an extermination. They launch a major assault on the 8-man's enclave. The goal is to wipe out the males entirely.
And do they succeed?
They do. It's described as a brutal affair. They drive the surviving male 8 men towards the cliff edge. The same cliff edge where the 8 men executed the Akalis.
Oh no, don't tell me.
Yep, they force them over.
Oh.
Onto the very same bamboo spikes that claims their victims. Poetic justice, maybe, but incredibly violent. Man, represented by the Akalis and the explorers, establishes total dominance on the plateau.
Yeah.
The 8 men are effectively wiped out. So the major threats are neutralized, the 8 men are gone, they have some defense against the dinosaurs. The focus naturally shifts back to the original problem.
Yeah.
How the heck do we get off this plateau?
Right, the bridge is gone, they're stuck up there. What's the plan? Challenger must have something brewing.
Oh, he does. And it's typically Challenger. Audacious, brilliant, and maybe completely insane. He notices a natural gas geyser somewhere on the plateau.
A gas geyser? What's he going to do with that?
Build a balloon. Of
A
course.
balloon.
Out of what?
Get this. He uses the preserved stomach lining of a massive iguanodon they'd killed, stitches it together into a huge airtight bag. His plan is to fill it with the natural gas from the geyser and just float away.
You cannot be serious. Iguanodon stomach balloon.
Perfectly serious. He actually builds the thing. They haul it over to the geyser, manage to inflate it. It's this huge, grotesque, pulsating bag.
Does it work?
It works a little too well. Challenger cuts the final ropes, holding it down, intending for a controlled ascent. But the buoyancy is way stronger than he calculated. The balloon just shoots upwards with frightful velocity.
Oh no. Challenger, still holding onto a rope, gets yanked instantly off his feet. Malone grabs Challenger's legs. Lord John grabs Malone's legs. They become this absurd string of sausages, as the text calls it, dangling beneath the runaway balloon, getting dragged higher and higher.
Are they all going to get carried away?
It looks like it for a second. Then, thankfully, the rope they're all clinging to snaps. The iguanodon balloon sails off into the sky like a giant stomach, and the three of them plummet back down to the ground, luckily not from too high up.
Wow. Close call. So Challenger's grand escape plan is literally full of hot air. Now what?
Their actual salvation comes from a much quieter, more humble source. From loyalty, really. Remember the young Akala chief, Moretas, the one they basically rescued and allied with?
Yeah.
He approaches Malone quietly, gives him a small, rolled-up piece of bark, a map.
A map to where?
A secret way out. It shows a hidden passage the Akalas knew about.
Seriously, there was another way all along.
Apparently so. They follow the map, find this cave near the edge of the plateau. Seems like a dead end, just a water-worn cave.
But it isn't.
They look up. High in the ceiling, there's this natural crack. Small, maybe not larger than a window, but it opens directly out onto the sheer cliff face below the overhang.
Or a hidden exit.
Exactly. They still have their rope they hauled supplies up with. They thread it through the crack, and one by one, they manage the long, dangerous descent down the cliff face. They have to leave most of their supplies and collections behind, but they make it. They're out.
Unbelievable. After everything. So they get back to civilization, back to London.
They do. They make their way back down the Amazon, eventually reach England.
Yeah.
But their return isn't exactly a hero's welcome. At first, anyway.
No, people didn't believe them. Even with Malone's reports, presumably.
Skepticism was rampant. Challenger arranges this huge public meeting at Queen's Hall in London to present their findings. Packed house. But the mood is hostile.
Who's leading the skepticism?
This guy, Dr. Illingworth from Edinburgh. He basically takes the stage and rips their story apart, dismisses the photographs as fakes, says their collection of giant beetles could come from anywhere, accuses them of doing it all for the desire for notoriety.
Ouch. After all they went through.
Exactly. Illingworth demands they produce larger specimens, something undeniable. The crowd is roaring, totally on Illingworth's side. It looks like Challenger's going to be humiliated all over again.
What Challenger had that secret package they carried out, right?
He did. And this is his moment, his ultimate triumph. He waits for the noise to peak, then dramatically signals for his package to be brought forward, a large crate.
And inside?
He throws it open, and inside is a live pterodactyl. A young one, but definitely alive, flapping its wings, making these weird gurgling sounds.
No way. He brought back a live pterodactyl.
He did. The ultimate proof. The reaction in Queen's Hall is just pandemonium, absolute chaos. People screaming, fainting, running for the exit.
And the pterodactyl?
In the confusion, it manages to get loose. Gives this shrill, whistling cry, swoops out over the terrified audience, finds an open window, and just flies off into the London night. Gone.
It escaped. Into London.
Yep. Last seen heading southwest over the Atlantic, apparently looking like something between a flying goat and a monstrous bat. But the point was made. Irrefutably. The lost world was real.
Wow. That is the most dramatic mic drop moment ever. So, scientifically, they're vindicated. What about Malone? Did he get his hero status? Did he win Gladys?
Gladys. Malone, having faced death, discovered dinosaurs, survived 8 men. He goes to see her, ready to claim his reward.
Is she waiting for her hero?
Not quite. He finds out she got married while he was gone.
Married? To who? Another explorer?
To a very quiet, very ordinary solicitor clerk named William Potts.
William Potts, seriously, after demanding a hero.
Seriously. And her explanation is just brutal. She tells Malone she figured his willingness to go on such a dangerous trip, leaving her behind for so long, actually proved that his love for her couldn't have been so very deep.
Oh, that is just... wow. The irony. He did exactly what she asked, and it pushed her away.
Completely. His whole quest for her validation ends in this really cynical, almost comical anticlimax.
So what happens to the team? Do they just go back to their normal lives?
Well, the adventure yielded one final unexpected prize. Lord John Roxton casually reveals he had a little side project going on while they were up there.
Their side project, while fighting dinosaurs.
Apparently. Remember that blue clay formation near the central lake they noted? Roxton suspected it might be volcanic and potentially diamond-bearing. He spent some quiet time digging around in it, protected by a bamboo cage, just in case.
Did he find anything?
He opens a cigar box for the others back in London and pours out a handful of rough, uncut stones. Diamonds, about 30 of them.
Diamonds. Real ones. How much were they worth?
Roxton estimated at least 200,000 pounds. A fortune, especially back then.
Incredible. What did they do with it?
Roxton, being Roxton, insists they split it 4 ways, equally. Challenger immediately starts planning a private museum with his share. Summerlee decides to retire and study fossils comfortably.
And Malone? Does he take his share and, I don't know, try to find a less demanding woman?
He refuses the money at first, but then he makes a decision. He looks at Roxton. He's tasted adventure, seen the ordinary life Gladys chose, and he wants more of the adventure.
He wants to go back.
He asks Roxton, I think, if you will have me, that I would rather go with you. He decides to use his share to fund another expedition with Lord John, back to the plateau. He completely rejects his old life, the pursuit of Gladys, everything. The adventure itself became the prize.
Hmm.
And that's really the core of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
What an incredible story. We covered so much the crazy start, driven by that romantic challenge, the shocking betrayal by Gomez, balanced by Zambo's loyalty down below.
And then the plateau itself, the sheer reality of surviving dinosaurs coexisting with this hidden, brutal civilization of, well, missing links. It's mind-bending stuff.
Absolutely. And I think maybe the deepest discovery wasn't actually the iguanodons or the pterodactyls. It was Malone's realization at the end.
That the heroism wasn't about winning Gladys.
Exactly. It was about realizing that sometimes the real reward is abandoning the goal you thought you wanted, the external validation, and just embracing the unknown, the challenge, the sport and risk, as Roxton put it, for its own sake.
So Malone and Roxton are heading back. They've got the money, they've got the experience, the world knows the plateau exists. Or at least saw a pterodactyl escape over London.
Right. The first trip answered the if. Now the question is, what else is there? What new secrets are waiting for them beyond those cliffs? Will they finally bring back that undeniable full-grown specimen this time? Or find something even stranger?
That's the lingering question, isn't it? What quest, what discovery is worth leaving your entire old life behind for? Something for you all to think about. We'll see you next time.